Yes, welcome to online chemistry classes. So, my dears, today we are going to discuss about the periodic classifications of elements. After finishing this chapter, this entire video, you will come to know that who started elements were they found during that time, and what are the parameters they have used, what are the fundamental properties they have used to arrange all the elements and everything. So, let us move to the concept of periodic classification. Yes, periodic classifications. In the previous classes, you may have learned about the elements and molecules, compounds, etc. So all we know that elements are the building blocks of all substances, both compounds as well as mixtures. Further, these elements have been classified into metals and non-metals. We have also studied the general characteristics of the elements. That means metals and non-metals general character properties also you may have learned already. If it not, I'll upload one more video, no problem. Now, around the year 18th century, that means 1800 year, there were only 30 elements were found. There were only 30 elements was known during that time. It was quite easy to study, but easy to study as well as to remember the properties of those elements individually. But when the time is passage, okay, when passage of time, the number of elements gradually increased. The discovery becomes more and more. It becomes very large, and many numbers. The number of elements are there. Now we have 118 elements. To study these 118 elements individually, it is very difficult. So that reason, in 18th century itself only, some of the scientists like great Dauvergne, Newland, and very mind power scientist, his name is Mandelius. They have used their talent and they arranged the elements in group as well as period wise with increasing order of atomic number as well as with the properties of their respective elements, properties of elements. So next, later on, the process of discovering new elements is not at over, still 118 element is discovered. Now it may one more element or one two more elements may found in the future also. Who knows that? You or me, we can discover, not a problem. But it is very impossible to study the element properties and all, correct? So that is the reason we required this classifications. As for example, if you visit to the any medical shop or ration shop wherever, so that shopkeeper will keep the substance, keep the objects in one place. That means similar objects in one place, like foodie items are on one side and non-foodie items are in another side, and also some materials. Okay, they will arrange the soaps and detergents in one side. Why? Because to identify when customer comes to the shop, no, he will ask particular thing. So the keeper should go to the particular place and he will pick that and he will help him. That means their time gets reduced, and key shopkeeper will knows the knowledge of where the substances are, where the objects are there. Everything with he can come to know. In the same way, in the periodic table, if we arrange the elements in group wise as well as period wise according to their chemical properties, it is bit easy to study the elements present in a particular group and elements present in a particular periods. So that is the reason. So we need classifications. We need classifications. Now let us go with who attempt these classifications at the beginning in 18th century. The scientist, his name is Dauvergne. The scientist, his name is Dauvergne. Dauvergne. Okay, Dauvergne. So this Dauvergne in 17th century, during his time, there were total 32 elements. That's all. 32 elements. He studied properties of elements. He is actually a German scientist. He is German chemist. Dauvergne was German chemist. In 1817, he started arranging the elements with increasing order of similar chemical properties as well as physical properties but he started with arranging elements with increasing order of atomic number, increasing order of atomic mass number, atomic mass of an element. So he gave some triads. How he arranged means he used, for example, elements A, B, C is there, A, B, C, something, some elements are there. He arranged that those elements in the order of group. He made it as a three elements group, a group containing three elements. He called for that triad. He called it as a triad. Triad is nothing but a, three elements present in a group. That particular group he called it as a triads. Okay, what he explained with this? He explained that arranged in order of increasing atomic masses, he arranged elements in order of increasing atomic masses, and the atomic mass of the middle element, atomic mass of the middle element was almost equal to the mean average mass, atomic masses of, mean average atomic masses of the first element and the last element. I hope it's clear to you. The atomic mass of the middle element is almost equals to the, relatively equals to the average atomic masses of first and last element. So that concept is given by the Dauvergne. So according to his law, he has given the formula: the mass of element B equals to mass of A plus mass of C divided by the average atomic masses of AC. So this is the formula, a mathematical formula expression what he has given for the calculation of atomic masses. Suppose now we can easily understand that how can you identify the atomic masses of B? What is the mass of B? If mass of A is given, mass of A is 7, mass of C is 39, then how do you calculate the mass of B? By averaging the atomic masses of first and third one, we will get around 30, 23. 23 will be the atomic mass of B. In the same way, I would like to ask you, I would like to give you one more point. How can we calculate the atomic mass of B? We have done. How can you calculate atomic mass of A if suppose B has given, A is not given, they're asking to identify the atomic mass of A. So how to do means you have to alter the formula. So to find the atomic mass of A, to find mass of A, when mass of B is given, for example, let me give you examples for the mass of B. For example, mass of B is 87.6 and mass of C is 137.3. Then what is the mass of A? So then you have to change the formula into, you should not write A equals to B plus C by 2. That is not the correct formula. You have to rearrange the formula. How to rearrange the formula? 2 into B, if I multiply 2 into B equals to A plus C. Now they are asking to find out the mass of A. 2B minus C equals to 2B minus C equals to A. So this is the formula you have to remember. So A equals to 2B minus C. A equals to 2B minus C. 2B is nothing but what? 2 into B value is 87.6 minus C value is 137.3. You calculate this, 12, 1, 14, 1, 15, 1, 2, 8, 1 plus 17. Okay, so this is minus 137.3. How much you'll get? So definitely we'll get some amount. What is the amount? Yeah, around 40, sorry, around 37 or 39 will get, correct? So around 39 something you get. 175.2 divided minus 137.3. So here we'll get 12 minus 3 is 9, and 14 minus 7 is nothing but 7, and 6 minus 3 is nothing but 3, 0, Around 37 point. The mass of A is 37.9. So this is the way how to calculate the atomic masses for the unknown elements. So this is the formula given by the Dobrnaya. Now let us talk about the significances, that means merits as well as demerits of Dobrnaya. So what is the Dobrnayer's law? So Dobrnayer's law is nothing but law of triads. Law of triads. What is the meaning of triad? Means triad is elements present in a group. Three elements present in a group is called as a triad. Three elements present in a group is called as triad. Now let us talk about what is the law of triad. Law of triad, that is what? Atomic mass of middle element, atomic mass of middle element, atomic mass of middle element is relatively equal to, is relatively almost equal to, I can say that, okay, relatively equal to the average atomic masses of first and third elements. That is the for our law of triads. Okay, now let us come to the which triads, how many triads he proved. That is what merits. His law only proves, this law explains only for three triads. This law explains only three triads. Okay, this law explains the arrangement of three triads. What are the three triads? So one is sodium family, that is what? Lithium, sodium, potassium. This is one triad actually. Lithium, sodium, potassium. And calcium, strontium, barium. This is the next triad, second triad explained by the Dobrnaya. And chlorine, bromine, iodine. This is what? Third triad explained by the Dobrnaya. But during his time, there were totally 32 elements. Out of 32, he would have, his law only explained for just 9 elements, and it is failed to explain the remaining elements. He find that is the meaning. That is the meaning. Okay, he could not able to find the arrangement triads for all the elements during his time. He could able to identify the arrangement for the only 9 elements in 3 triads. That is what is it, limitations. So he could not able to arrange 32 elements. That is the point. Okay. So Dobrnayers, no doubt, of course, triads given by the Dobrnaya were helpful in grouping of some elements with a similar chemical properties together. Exactly correct. No, this is what similar. This sodium, lithium, potassium shows similar chemical properties. That is all are reducing agents, and which shows valence is 1. And these 3 elements, calcium, strontium, barium, acts as a reducing elements in present in a group 2, and the valence is +2. There is -1. This is +1. This is -1. Correct. No, but the remaining elements are not fit for his law. Okay, so atomic mass of lithium is 7, atomic mass of potassium is 39. The average atomic mass of lithium and potassium gives 23. Exactly, the mass of sodium is 23. In the same way, calcium, 40 is the atomic mass of calcium. Barium has atomic mass around 137.3, whereas strontium has atomic mass of 87.6. The average atomic masses of calcium and barium gives the atomic mass to the strontium. In the same way, chlorine, 35.5 is the chlorine atomic mass. In the same way, bromium has atomic mass of 79.9, whereas iodine has atomic mass of 126.9. The average masses of first and last gives to the relative atomic mass to the bromine. But his law did not explain about, his law is not able to explain for the remaining elements like nitrogen family. NPAS is there. What is that nitrogen family? Basically, nitrogen, phosphorus, and arsenic belongs to the same group. but the first mass of first element and the mass of last element, that is what arsenic, around around 74.9 atomic mass is there. The average atomic mass of arsenic and nitrogen does not equals to the, it is not at all equals to the atomic mass of phosphorus. Phosphorus atomic mass is just 30, just 31. But the average atomic mass, how much we'll get here means almost 82.9 divided by 2 means almost 42. So there is a huge difference between 31 and 42. Is the reason this law is not fit for the all elements during this time. So this is what about Durbinius. After him, one more scientist came forward to arrange the elements, with increasing order of atomic mass number only. So after studying Dobernier's law in 1856, if English scientist, he is actually okay, an English scientist, John Newland, his name is John Newland. So he is actually English scientist, English chemist. He started arranging the elements with increasing order of atomic mass number, But Dobrunier arranged the elements in a group wise. He kept 3 elements in a certain group and called that as a triad. But this fellow is actually a good lover of music. So he started arranging the elements with increasing order of atomic mass across a period, like horizontal way, okay, period wise, like this. He started arranging elements like this: lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. During his period, noble gases were not yet discovered. Noble gases were not found. So the reason he has not arranged any noble gas in his periodic table. In order of atomic masses, he arranged, and his surprise thing is what means he compared his arrangement with musical notes. What is that? Musical notes. We know that Indian musical notes, we can say in Sanskrit, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. Correct? No? Sa re ga ma pa da ni. After ni, again sa will come. That sa will pronunciate in the same manner how we will pronunciate in the beginning. So the reason he concluded that if sa is the first note in the musical, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes are there. The 8th note, whatever the 8th note will come, 8th word of music, whatever the note will come, that note gives the resembled sounds like first note. So on this basis, he started arranging the elements. That he concluded that after fluorine, noble gases were not found during that time. Sodium has come. This sodium also showing a similar chemical properties to the lithium. Hence, he did not place sodium after the fluorine. He placed that sodium below the lithium, and followed magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine. Listen here, very interesting statement he has given. What is that statement means? That statement, that law is called as Newland's law of octaves. Otherwise, we can also call law of octaves. That's enough. Okay. Also called as octaves law. Okay. Octaves law of Newland's. It's not a problem. Law of octaves. What he predicted the statement. He has given one statement. The statement is very simple. When elements are arranged in order of increasing atomic mass number, there is a repetition of the properties of every 8th element has compared to its first element. So according to that, he has given the statement: every 8th element, every eighth element has resemble property to the its first element. Every eighth element has similar chemical properties, similar properties to its first element. Every eighth element has similar chemical properties to its first element. Its first element. That is what explained by the optics. For example, let me go back to the periodic table of Newlands. Lithium is the first element to the sodium. You can observe that this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7. The eighth element is sodium. That means sodium shows similar chemical properties like lithium, because the first element to the sodium is lithium. And when you come to the magnesium, if you assume this as the eighth element, then the first element to the magnesium is beryllium. Every eighth element resembles the properties to its first element. Every eighth element shows similar chemical properties to its first element. That is the statement given by the Newland. Okay, but the thing is, during Newland's period in 1856, there were totally 56 elements. There were totally 56 elements was known during that time, in order of increasing atomic masses. But he failed to explain arrangement of all 56 elements in his periodic table. Why? Because after the calcium, scandium, titanium, vanadium came. This scandium is not at all showing a similar chemical properties to the aluminium. Titanium is not showing. Vanadium is not showing, because titanium, vanadium are metal, whereas phosphorus is a non-metal. So this law explained the arrangement successfully up to calcium, not for the heavy metals like scandium, titanium, vanadium, and transition metals. So that reason this law again failed. This law found some drawbacks. So let me draw now the Newland's periodic table to understand better. Okay, let us come here. What is the Newland's arrangement? He arranged the elements: hydrogen, after that lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. After fluorine, neon is there at present now in 2020, but neon was not found during 18th century. After fluorine, sodium, after fluorine, just a minute. Yeah, after oxygen, he kept fluorine below the hydrogen, because hydrogen and fluorine showing same chemical molecular formulas. Like hydrogen gas is H2. In the same way, fluorine gas shows F2. F2. That is the reason. Fluorine, again sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur. After sulfur, chlorine he placed in a below the fluorine. After chlorine, potassium, calcium, and after calcium he started arranging chromium, titanium, manganese, iron, Fe. And after iron he placed both cobalt and nickel in dissimilar slot. And after nickel he kept copper in the place below to the potassium, and zinc place below to the calcium, and yttrium, indium, and one more element, that is As, and selenium, as well as bromine. After that, after arranging cobalt and nickel in the same slot, again bromine he arranged below to the cobalt and nickel. Bromine, rubidium, strontium, and that is cerium and lanthanum. He placed it again in a aluminum family, boron family, and zirconium. This is what the arrangement of the, what is that, Duvernier's. So this is what musical notes you should remember: sa re ga ma pa da ni. Okay, every eighth element resembles the properties what he said. But this law explained up to calcium. The above elements which comes after the calcium, those elements does not fit for his law. Why? Because we can easily say that this is a copper and nickel, this is metal, this is actually a these two are metals. How metals belongs to the dissimilar groups like halogens? How it belongs to the halogens? Halogens are non-metals. Halogens are non-metals. This was not explained. And after that, you can see that copper, nickel, and iron, these belongs to this. This shows similar properties. He has not arranged iron, copper, iron, cobalt, nickel in the same slot, but he arranged iron in dissimilar slot, cobalt and nickel in another dissimilar slot. So that is the reason. It is main reason for the rejection of Newland's arrangements, Newland's arrangement of elements. Is it clear? So that is the main reason for the failure of this Newland's. And also he is one of the egoist person. Okay, basically he gave a one statement during his time. What he said means he was assumed by the it was assumed by the Newland that only 56 elements exist in the nature and no more elements would be discovered in the future. He concluded that only 56 elements can be exist in the nature. No 57th, no 58th element can occur, found in the future, it seems. But later on, several new elements, later on few years, several new elements were discovered. Those properties did not fit to this particular law of octaves, this particular law of octaves. So this is the main drawback of Newland's. Hence, this irrelevant law was not explained about the arrangement of elements during his time. Hence, it was failed easily. Totally, it was failed. After his periodic table, the one more chemist, Mendeleev. He is the chemist, Russian chemist, was the first to make a very significant contribution to the formation of periodic table. He has given immense contribution towards the periodic table. What he did? Who is that? Mendeleev's periodic table. What did he give? Mendeleev gives a immense significant contribution towards the periodic table. Why? Because he started arranging elements by taking groups as well as periods. So we'll talk much about these groups as well as periods, and we'll talk more about the Mendeleev's periodic table in next session. So thank you very much and keep on supporting me for doing a very interesting topics on chemistry. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe my channel and share the content with your friends. Thank you very much.